a tough stretch there late. Cunningham got hot and made some big shots. He's a great player. I thought our team's effort, for the most part tonight, was really high level. It's a physical team we just played, and their physicality impacted our ability to create an advantage at different times. And at the end of the day, we shot 38% from the floor. We were 18 for 40 in the paint. I thought we missed some bunnies. I thought we had some gathers that got stripped in the paint. But I thought the team's effort and competitiveness and togetherness, all those things were pretty high level tonight. We just couldn't quite make enough shots to catch a rhythm. The third quarter, we went particularly cold, and they stirred it up a little bit. They came out of halftime, and their physicality was even a notch higher. But I'm proud of the team's effort. I think, again, we have a bunch of young guys that continue to look like they're getting better, which is a good sign. And over the course of 82 games, there are some nights where the explanation at the end of the day is we didn't make enough. I wish we could have gotten a little bit of a rhythm going at different times by knocking a few down. Svi had a great game tonight. I think Ace is showing flashes of his improvement. I think Walt is getting more and more comfortable. So tough result at the end, but really happy and proud of the team's effort for 48 minutes.
With Svi, what does he bring generally to that starting lineup, and then what does he do especially well tonight?
Yeah, Svi he's a really good shooter. He has more game off the bounce and driving closeouts than maybe he's shown in the past. He also is a pretty athletic defender on the ball. Like, he competes really hard on the perimeter. I thought tonight, he's done a better job lately of shooting more catch and shoots and not shot faking quite as much. I think there are times where he tries to be a little too perfect and ends up playing a lot of shot fake kind of sidestep from three, but he's a really good shooter when he has his feet set. We want him to shoot more catch and shoots. I think his teammates did a good job finding him early in the game. And then once you see a few go in, any NBA player can start to feel good, and you get a couple of the little, I think he hit like a scoop in the first half that was a tough shot. The AM one late was big. So, Svi's been really steady for us over his time here. Like, his approach, steady in terms of like his approach, his professionalism, kind of understanding where he is in his career and how he can play off the other guys. We've had him in certain moments handle the ball a bunch because we've needed it. Svi grew up as a point guard. So, he's an overall pretty skilled basketball player and a really competitive guy.
What can your young players kind of learn from his career trajectory and just how he's approached things this season?
Yeah, desperation's a heck of a thing. Svi's bounced around a little bit and been in a bunch of different environments, and yeah, I know I can really only speak from my experience with him here, but his effort and intensity and focus on all the little things in terms of preparation, not just mentally from a scouting side, but his body and his work in the weight room, his work on the court. He gives maximum effort in every practice. I think he models really good professional behavior for our young players because, Svi is in a moment where, you look at his contract and he's playing for something. The way he carries himself, the way he interacts with all of his teammates, he would never let you know that there's that desperation. He doesn't make it about himself. He really gives himself to the group, and I think that's something that we can all take from Svi.
With Ace, how aware do you think he is at how much his length, not just his arms, but his legs too, is valuable on the defensive end and like in closeout situations?
Yeah, I think he knows that it's valuable. It's something that we talk to him a lot about. I think he's getting better at understanding how to space people and how to use his length. Like a lot of young players, he's been a little bit foul prone early on, but I think his effort with his feet has been really good, and that's the first thing we need to address with any young player is the effort with their feet. He's going to get better at understanding some of the tricks and the guys spinning and trying to sweep through where he gets his hand caught in, or he's tagged a few jump shooters on the forearm. But I think his effort level has been really high. I think he's shown the ability in different moments to guard the ball. So I'm really pleased with Ace's progress, through this very short first part of the season, because he shows every day that he has the ability to learn, and to learn pretty quickly. So I'm really happy with his trajectory at the moment.
On the same note, he also seems like he makes really quick decisions for how young he is when he has the ball, whether it's anything. Like, he just makes a very quick decision. Was that kind of a day one thing where you're like, oh, he's really fast with what he's thinking?
Yeah, I think he's, I've said this to you guys a lot over the last couple of years. There's so much context with every player because you don't know what they're being asked to do by their coach. So, like, you could watch a player on another NBA team and make all these assumptions about them, but you don't know what their role is or what they're being told. So with any young player, whether it's summer league or open gym or training camp, like, I'm trying to learn about Ace. I'm trying to learn what he's capable of, stripping away the context of what's happened before. And so he's shown the ability, really early on to make quick decisions. It's something that we've urged him and his teammates to do. But like one of the first plays he's in tonight, like that rebound to dropping it to Lowry, that's not a play you're seeing a lot of young players make. So you get to see the flashes of his ability to process what's going on in the game, really fast.
What ways is Walt getting more comfortable?
I mean, at a very basic level, like, not to be trite, but when to shoot and when to pass. I think early on he was really careful and never really pushed it when he drove. Like, there's very few blow-by drives in the NBA with no contact. Like, you have to play through the first bump, and I think early on when he would take that first dribble and the gap starts to close, he would sort of back off. But I think we've seen in the last two games in particular, two big drives with his right hand where he's gotten to the rim. Tonight he had an M1, and in Boston he had the inside hand finish on, I think it was Xavier Tillman. So I think he's showing a little bit more aggressiveness and, like, when he's supposed to be in kind of that attack mode. And then there's other things that are as basic as, like, the play calling, some of the terminology. It's not necessarily things he's never seen before, but we're using different words than he's used before, and so that always takes a second to speed up. And we've played a lot of teams that are pressuring our point guards, so he's doing all of that under duress. It's not lost on me how hard that is.
When you see those flashes from Ace, is that something you say, okay, he's ready for more responsibility, or do you just say, hey, that's a sign of improvement, that's good?
Yeah, it's a good question. There's not a perfect science for when to give somebody more. But I do think that consistency is ultimately what we're all chasing. And so I think about the season in sort of 10-game chunks. And so it's like, hey, let's try to tackle these things. And then at the end of 10 games, let's check in and say, this part's getting better. This part needs to still improve. And then we sort of figure out if there's things we want to add to his plate. Because it's not fair for us to assume that oh, he had a good game, and so next game we'll just do more, and then the next game after that we'll do more, because we wouldn't want to do the opposite. Like if he had a bad, oh, now we just strip it back, because then we'd keep him in this place of yo-yoing back and forth. So I try to think about it in like chunks, and if like something is consistently going well, or a bunch of things are consistently getting better, okay, now maybe we can add one more thing into the mix.